Hello everybody, my name is Samson and today I would like to take you on a Minecraft Let's Build. But no, not just a regular Let's Build. My Let's Build consists of a story that expands each episode and each building that we create. This is so every building, wall or even fence has a reason to be there. So let's jump right into the story and I will explain everything along the way. I hope you enjoy. Our story starts with a farmer called Eric. He has recently made a small fortune selling potato and carrot seeds in his hometown. With this money he has bought tickets for him and his family to a recently discovered continent. The farmer wanted a fresh start, a place to begin anew and build a future for himself and for his family. The first thing they needed now they had arrived was shelter. To build a house, a place to live. Luckily, Eric had thought of this and had brought alongside with him a small construction crew to help him build his dream house. Brick by brick, the house climbed to the skies as it grew bigger and bigger. And finally, the last challenge was to build the roof. And once that was finally complete, the family had achieved their goal. Now the house was complete, the family started to decorate it, to make it their own. With every new detail, the house started to look more and more like a home. And Eric and his family loved it. Let's take a small step back from the story and just explore the house and its surroundings for a little bit. I hope you like what you see here as we explore every angle of the house, because there is a lot more to come. A problem of having such a beautiful cozy house is that you realize that you need a lot more than just shelter to survive. So Eric and his family had to go to work and start building a farm where they could grow their own food. It took more than 5 days to finish building this huge field, but it was not for nothing, because the family soon saw that the crops started to grow rapidly, and Eric even started to think about trade with the local fishermen so he could sell his wheat for fish and other sea valuables. Now that the field was almost complete, they needed a way to protect their crops from being trampled by the local wildlife. The field was surrounded by a large fence, and for the already harvested crops, a small granary was made to keep them dry, safe and out of the rain. To make use of the most space in their granary, they used many shelves, crates and even barrels to store their precious food. But with this abundance came unwanted attention, and Jessica, Eric's wife, started to notice some of the food had gone missing. Soon after this discovery, they found the suspect. A group of mice and rats had infiltrated their granary and was eating from their food. The family had luckily seen a few wild cats roaming the nearby woods and planned to tame one so it could protect their precious food. So the family built a small road to the local river and created a pier to go alongside of it so they could catch some fish to tame a new member of their family. Luckily, there were many fish in the river and the family did not have a hard time at all to fill buckets upon buckets with cod and even some fresh salmon. After some exploring, they found a beautiful orange cat that was easily tamed with a few delicious fish. Welcome to the family, little one. The orange cat gladly followed the family to its new home. Maybe because it knew it didn't have to sleep outside anymore. Or maybe because it smelled the delicious mice and rats that were waiting for him in the granary. But sometimes even a cat needs a little help or a little push to get over some obstacle and into its new home. Taking a small break from the story, I would love to hear some name input for our lovely little cat. You can of course leave these name suggestions in the comment section below this video and I will surely see them. With their food secure, the family could focus on the next project, but for that project they needed loads of wood. Luckily, the nearby forest could provide, and they started chopping away at the trees. As the final leaves started to decay, disaster struck. Jessica and Eric's youngest son was attacked by a pack of wolves. He had come too close to their nest and had to run for his life. He made a run for the river and jumped in it, but he was bitten several times and he could barely get himself out of the water. Meanwhile, the family started to get worried. They hadn't heard of their youngest son in quite some time now, and it was rapidly becoming night. They wanted to search for him, but Eric told them that if they did, they could get lost as well, and that they should wait for the morning. At dawn, a figure emerged from the river. It had high fever and could barely walk. It made its way to the house. Slowly, but filled with determination. With the last of his strength, the youngest son, Thomas, entered the house and fell unconscious. With no time to spare, they needed medicine to save Thomas his life, and they needed it fast. So the family started to construct a garden where they could plant medicinal herbs. The garden was soon inhabited by lilacs, rose bushes, beetroots, pumpkins and even melons. In the middle of the pond they created, they also built a small shrine where they could pray to the spirits of nature. Now the herb garden was complete, they could get to work with curing Thomas. Jessica started to gather all kinds of ingredients from the garden, which she could use to save Thomas's life. While Jessica was making medicine, the rest of the family gathered at the shrine, and they started to pray. After a few days of laying in bed and taking the disgusting medicine his mother made, Thomas could get up on his own and even go outside. He was back to his old self again. Now the whole family was back and healthy, they could start to set their eyes on the next big project. The idea was to create a road and a bridge to connect their little house to the other side of the river, where loads of wild pigs and cows roamed the area. If the family could tame these animals and could bring them back to their house, these animals could provide a lot of food and also to help spice up their diet, which currently only consists of bread and water. However, the family had missed a huge oversight. Since they had used all of their stone and ground supplies to lay down the road, they could no longer use these materials to build the bridge across the river. Thomas, who had used his time in bed to think about their situation, had thought of a way to solve this problem. He called over his father Eric and he explained him that he wanted to build a quarry where they could mine stone that could be used to build their new bridge. They found a small cave which they started to excavate to make room for their new quarry. As more and more stones were dug out of the cave, it became a lot easier to access it. They also started to build small crates to store their mined resources. Now that the quarry was excavated and made safe, the family could start to dig and start to transport all of the dug stones all the way over to the bridge location. But the terrain between the quarry and the bridge was full of holes and little hills, so they first had to use the stones they dug to create a small road. Hey guys, just taking another small break from the story. I hope you like it so far, and it's awesome that you made it this far into the video. Have fun watching the next part. Now that the road was almost complete, the family started to feel joy. A quarry meant unlimited supply of stone that they could use in all sorts of ways. They also built some small carts that could be loaded up with the stones and be easily transported to the bridge. The family might even be able to tame some horses in the future. These horses could make the carrying of stone a lot easier, as they could pull the wagons and carts. With a small supply of stone secured, the family started to haul these stones all the way over to the bridge. Although they were no stonemasons, they had a natural talent for building, so they started to plan out how the bridge was going to be built. Taking another small break from the story, I have to tell you guys that this bridge was my bane. It took hours upon hours to build it. I kept not liking the design, so I had to do the designs like 10 times over. It was quite frustrating. But we can connect this quite easily to the story, because the family doesn't know how to build bridges as well. So that might be a reason why it took so long. But without further ado, let us return back to the story and let us return back to the family and see what they're up to. Everybody worked hard at completing the bridge. Especially Eric and Thomas worked day and night to finish the bridge as soon as possible. They saw the bridge as their special father and son project that had to be completed. They also knew that with a completed bridge, trade could begin with villages on the other side of the river. And finally, after 2 weeks of hard work, they could open up the bridge, a beautiful and momentous occasion that they would remember fondly. And with the great achievement of connecting 2 landmasses together, I would like to end this episode. As we fly past everything we built today, like the quarry, the herb garden, the granary, our house, and last but not least, the bridge, I would like to thank everyone for watching You can always leave me tips down in the comments and I will surely read them. And finally, if you enjoyed this video, you can always leave a like down below, or maybe even a comment, or you might consider subscribing. It's all up to you. I'm not going to ask you for it or beg for it. So please stay safe everyone and wash your hands. This was Samson and I'm out.